As you may already know, my name's Clare Baker and I'm a former clutterholic and borderline hoarder. I successfully cleared all my clutter over 20 years ago without the need for an expensive home visit, and I've been helping people around the world do exactly the same ever since, so that they too can know what it's like to have a clutter-free life forever. One of my missions is to dispel a lot of decluttering myths that are perpetuated by most of the decluttering TV programs, books, and experts by explaining exactly why they're myths. So today I want to explain the myth that you don't need to understand why you have your clutter. You just need to clear it. If only this were true. If only we could dive in the deep end or start in our biggest, most cluttered room or area and just clear it once and for all. But I suspect you've already tried that once or twice already. Are you clutter-free forever as a result? As much as we resist looking back and learning from the past, because having decided to clear our clutter, we're only focused on the future, we will never be able to clear our clutter or stay clutter-free forever without understanding our why. There are 5 reasons why it's a myth that you don't need to understand why you have your clutter and why you just need to clear it. So first, your clutter is like a weed. Weeds are undesirable plants. They grow vigorously, seemingly out of nowhere, and often overnight in places and spaces you don't want them. As all gardeners know, if you don't get out the roots of the weeds, the bits you can't see and are usually hard to get to, they'll just grow back, often bigger, stronger, and in even more places than before. Your why is the root of the clutter weed. It's dangerous and has the power to unleash more damage than your visible physical clutter because you don't even see it. It's the unknown enemy that has the advantage of surprise in the future. Consequently, even if you have a blitz and manage to clear your clutter by being ruthless with your decision making, the root of your clutter, your why, will always continue growing and spreading. The clutter will always grow back, and you'll never be able to get rid of it because you don't even acknowledge, much less understand, that there is a hidden root, your why. Yes, it takes more time, energy, effort, and money sometimes to get the help you need to deal with the roots. However, if you count up how much time, energy, effort, and money you've already spent over the years trying to clear the weeds and ignoring the roots, it adds up to more time, energy, effort, and money than it will take you to deal with the clutter root by understanding your why. The second reason this myth is a myth is because your why is unique. No two people's clutter is the same because it's the result of a unique combination of life experiences that you respond to in your own unique way. The same life experiences that cause one person to struggle with clutter may not lead another person to have the same visible symptom of physical clutter. It's because our life experiences are so unique and personal that we have to understand and make sense of our why ourselves. Only you can understand your unique why by putting in the time, energy, and effort to go to some potentially uncomfortable places, uncomfortable memories, and uncomfortable emotions in your past. Only when we feel a bit uncomfortable are we in the learning and change zone, which is where we need to be if we want to clear our clutter forever. The third reason this myth is a myth is because it's not just physical. You know that your clutter is more than just the physical things that you see. They're simply the physical evidence of mental and emotional clutter that's going on inside. Your clutter is a physical coping mechanism for the mental and emotional clutter that it's struggling or actively avoiding facing, processing, and learning how to deal with in a more appropriate way. For many of us, our clutter represents a coping mechanism we learned in childhood when we had less experiences and fewer choices about what coping mechanisms to use. There is more than one coping mechanism for the uncomfortable feelings, memories, and emotions that we experience in life. Unless you are prepared to put in the time, energy, and effort to understand your why of your coping mechanism that leads to your clutter, that you may have learnt and may have worked for you when you were a child, you will never learn a more appropriate coping mechanism to use as an adult. The fourth reason this myth is because it's the wrong decision-making fuel. What do I mean? If you don't put in the time, energy, and effort to understand your why, you will struggle to make balanced, realistic decisions, regardless of how many tools you have to make them. The decision-making tools you gather while you're on your journey only work with the right fuel, your why. You only know what the right fuel is for any given decision when you've taken the time, energy, and effort to find out what your unique why is. If you haven't understood your why at a deep level on step one of your journey, it's like putting diesel in a petrol engine. And consequently, you'll never be able to make balanced, realistic decisions when you start clearing your physical clutter. The final reason this myth is a myth is because of the clutter clearing 80-20 rule. Successfully clearing your clutter requires you to follow the clutter clearing 80-20 rule. When you put 80% of your time, energy, and effort into understanding your why on step one of your clutter clearing journey, you'll be able to clear your clutter in 20% of the time that it would otherwise take to clear. If you ignore your why, you'll only ever clear 20% of your clutter. If you doubt that, just reflect on how successful your previous attempts to declutter have been. Have you ever successfully cleared more than 20% of your clutter? You can clear your clutter fast, or you can clear your clutter forever, but you can't clear your clutter forever fast. If you're ready to accept this myth is a myth and start clearing your clutter by learning to let go so you can clear it forever, click on the link with this video and find out how I can help you get started now.